We're going to talk to you too, though. Okay. All right. So I'm here in West Hollywood. We're at Mary's house, where we've been before on several occasions. What's going on, Mary? You just got home? I don't even really know the story yet. Can you fill us in?
I came home at 6:30 to drop off my car, and a friend of mine was going to take me to the LA Occupiers meeting because I can't drive a lot.
The Occupy Fights Foreclosure meeting?
Tonight downtown.
Right.
And when we drove up together, there were notes posted on the tree. The gates were chained, locked up, and I was shocked, totally shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend immediately got out of her car. I said, "Look, Bernice, what's going on?" And she said, "This is not right." I called my attorney immediately, and I told him, because there was a letter on the door. I was served with an eviction notice on the 21st of June. The attorney immediately filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which puts a stay on it. And he gave me a letter with that file number to post on the door, allowing everyone that would come to the door to see that this was in place.
Mm-hmm.
They removed it, used the container. I had it in this.
This is the notice right here that was on the door?
The notice on the door is not any of those. These are all that they have put. The notice that was on the door is on the table.
Okay.
On the other table.
That she had gotten
On the
20th of the
this is
20th of June.
This is the original eviction notice.
Correct.
Right.
Notice to vacate on June 20th. And then you spoke to your lawyer.
We got,
Freddie Vega, your lawyer?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
and then she filed bankruptcy, which put an automatic stay, which prevented this vacate from being carried through. And right now, the automatic stay is still in place.
Right.
But yet, she came home today. The locks changed. This on the door.
Locks changed?
The locks
Yeah.
were all changed. She was locked out, padlocks, everything. And
Broken.
this was on there.
Broken locks?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they broke it.
Oh,
drilled
hold on.
everywhere.
Hold on a minute. Let's look at this. What?
Is the others in the back?
There's some over there. Yeah, that's what they had done and changed it.
And they just left it all there like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And in the back too, all, 4 in total. The garage, this, and they broke the bottom locks, so our keys won't work.
Ah.
See? All of the bottom locks, which instead of changing, they just broke them. They changed all the top locks, and so my mom couldn't get in. It was chained here, chained there.
The gates were changed?
The gates were chained. Even the automatic gate was a padlock there, chains. And so we called LAPD. LAPD came.
PD jurisdiction.
This is PD
Yeah.
jurisdiction. So we called LAPD,
Mm-hmm.
and they analyzed the situation, and they said that it was an illegal lockout, and they gave us permission to call a locksmith to then, and they took a criminal report as well, which we have.
Fantastic. This is good.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
going to help
And
your
so
case,
here,
I would hope.
This is the report,
This
and
is
they
the
gave it.
investigative report from the Los Angeles Police Department, in case you can't read it. Okay.
And then we waited while they were here.
Mm-hmm.
The locksmith came, and this is what they charged us that we just had to pay in order to change all the locks.
$450.
Yes.
Yeah, because
In
lockout
cash
service,
only.
in cash, service call in the middle of the
Yes.
night, everything. This is what we just had to pay in order to
Yes,
get back
yes.
into the house. She is 64, almost 65, has medication, everything. This wasn't a legal
Yes.
lockout where they give you a notice and you go.
Right.
They didn't, and we called our lawyer. They didn't file a motion to remove the automatic stay. They didn't. They have to remove that before they can.
They have to do their paperwork.
They
Yeah,
didn't do it. They didn't
okay.
do it. And this, and even this letter, the contact
Thank
is
you so much.
a realtor. This
Oh,
is
they
not.
gave you this?
These were
Was
all
written on there?
things.
Already?
Yes,
Okay.
all of them were written like this.
And you
Every
called
single
and
one.
it's a realtor?
Oh yeah, that's the realtor that's listed on the agent. So this was kind of
Who's
work.
selling the property? Whoa.
And and look, all of the ones. This is written in this thing.
Yeah, well, I want to
And-
talk about that too in a minute.
And this here, it just doesn't seem like an official one. If you look at the official, it's stamped. This is what was put on here as the notice of eviction, which has some deputy, but they saw this and it didn't even seem legit. That's why they tried to call the sheriffs, but the sheriff unit that handles this closes at 4:30. So the LAPD came, supervisor came. There was like 6 cops here, and they said, you know what, this looks illegal. They're going to file a more detailed report tomorrow.
I was so impressed that the PD permitted it.
Oh yeah, so they went and they waited till the locksmith came. They were here. They took some pictures as well.
Yeah, they came in the house.
And they came in the house
And
to make
they
sure they
asked me
weren't
to
stolen.
Go through and see if
Anything wasn't stolen. But this was completely illegal. And look, we had to pay out of our own pocket $450 to get back.
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's
on top of all
we
the
have,
other
and we have pets
expenses
too.
you
They
pay.
locked us up, and then there's birds here. 20-year-old bird.
Oh.
And they locked the door. If we couldn't get in, what would have happened to the birds?
Wow.
Look, more locks that they had here. They locked the door. That's like animal cruelty. How can?
Yeah, get PETA over here, right? Oh man.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
guys,
they locked the door.
20-year-old birds.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that one's 20-year-old.
That one?
Yeah.
The other guy looks older.
Well, this one I raised by hand. So this one's a little bit newer, but
Maybe it's just a mohawk.
Yeah.
Wow, and do you live here?
No. I live. Me and my wife live somewhere else, but obviously my mom lives here, and so.
So you came over. She called you, and you
yeah,
came over.
she called me, and I came over immediately.
Okay.
Me, my wife, and my daughter.
And you're expecting, I see.
Yes.
Congratulations, you're second. Yes, added stress, not very, very nice, huh?
No.
We don't really need this.
She doesn't need that.
You've had, what, 6 operations in the last year, right?
Yeah.
We don't need any more stresses on this
And
family.
2 are pending.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2 are pending.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Look,
Tell me about yesterday, Mary. You were on the news yesterday, right?
Yes, the Bill of Rights was signed yesterday.
homeowners' Bill of Rights.
The homeowners' Bill of Rights was signed yesterday, and Carlos thought it was. Mine is such a complicated and compelling story that he would contact NBC and have them come out and do the story of all I have gone through from the inception.
Right.
Applying for the foreclosure, it being denied based on the fact that I was not in default, but their dual tracking, they were in the background starting the process because it went rather rapid. And the first attorney that I approached, she filed a Chapter 11 on me. She told me she was going to negotiate with the bank. That's how the conversation went. And then she filed a Chapter 11. We went to court. The judge and the trustee saw that this was not appropriate for me. They disgorged her fees and said, pay the lady. I spent money to try and make her pay the fees, went back to court because she started to file rejections, opposing the disgorgement. Then finally, she filed a Chapter 7 and wiped me out. I approached another attorney.
How much money did you give her? Sorry to interrupt, but
$8,500.
No, 10,000 total.
It was 10,000, which includes 1,000 of filing fees. But 85 was her fees,
Was disgorged.
and
which
that
she
was
never collected.
disgorged.
right.
And then I went to Michael Pines and paid him $5,000 retainer and $2,500 per month, and he ended up being disbarred.
And messing up a whole bunch of other things and causing her distress. And so he was disbarred because he was breaking into people's houses, not filing their paperwork, and so she was out that money too. So first lawyer out, plus the money she was spending to try and collect. The lawyer was about to be found in contempt of court for not paying. And yet, right before she was supposed to pay, she filed the Chapter 7 so that she wouldn't have to.
Right.
Right. And then I approached
A Beverly Hills attorney.
Paralegal with a lawyer to do the representations in court. And he was too new and did not file all the appropriate papers. So he filed the Chapter 13. And ultimately, that was dismissed. I was actually in the hospital when the creditors' meeting was supposed to happen. He did not notify the court, which was one of their objections, and he did not complete all the paperwork necessary for the Chapter 13.
That's not the only thing. Plus, they had a quiet title action that he never amended, so that was kicked out. A quiet title action disputing the foreclosure. So there was a state case, a quiet title action, and he had to amend some papers. The demur, he had to amend and respond to the demur, and he never did, and so that was thrown out. So her case, where she could, illustrate how she has a forensic report this big on how all the irregularities with the mortgage, like how it was sold from one bank to another, and everything.
Wow.
It's tons of irregularities. Like
all the
robo-signing to
the assignments were done so rapid.
Yeah, it was like robo-signing to the worst, you know what I mean? So there
Right.
was all these illegal stuff, but
Wow.
she didn't get a chance to present it because the lawyer who was right out of law school the same year, because she went through an experienced attorney, 16 years, gave him thousands upon thousands, and he was disbarred. She went crazy. So she didn't have a lot of money. She went with this lawyer who said that they can handle it, and they ended up not being able to file the right paperwork, right? So he didn't know, he didn't file it, so that was kicked out. The bankruptcy was kicked out, which they were hoping to, during bankruptcy, kind of indicate that the house is not a secured creditor because of all these irregularities. So he couldn't show it in the quiet title action. They couldn't address it in the bankruptcy. Both were kicked out. So now she went to a third lawyer when she got this vacate notice. That's Mr. Vega, and he filed the Chapter 7.
He's the fourth. Vega's the fourth lawyer.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Fitzgerald, Hines, Frank, and the fourth lawyer. And he currently is the one in charge of the Chapter 7, which has the automatic stay right now, so that they can't kick her out.
Right, but then you come home and you come to this. So what's the next step now? I mean, what do you do?
Well, tomorrow we're going to contact the sheriffs. He contacted this Bill Lee person, and then Bill Lee responded back by email saying, and the sheriffs, the LAPD, when I was outside with them, tried to call this Mr. Lee as well, but he didn't respond.
But he responded by email. What did he say?
He responded by email, and he said, contact this other attorney. So now our lawyer tomorrow, because this all happened tonight, is going to contact both the sheriff's office to find out if they actually sanctioned this, which they shouldn't have because of the stay.
How did you find out he's a realtor, Bill Lee?
It's listed on the MLS. If you look at the MLS, he's been also coming trying to take pictures. He wanted to come and take pictures inside here.
Pictures of us coming out of the car, and my granddaughter, one day coming home.
He's been stalking you, taking pictures of you?
With my groceries, and he said, hey, you, and I said, who are you talking to? And because I was with her, I continued to ignore him and came in, because I didn't want her involved.
Did he come in at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night?
And then he came 9 o'clock, banging on the door, shining the torchlight, terrified her, and my 86-year-old mother there. My mom and Scarlett, any noise now, it's really terrifying for us. 9 o'clock at night, banging on all the doors and shining a torchlight.
What did he say?
He said, hey, you in there, I can see the lights are on. I can hear the TV. I know you're there. Open up. And I said, get off the property. And he said, make me. And I said, I'll call the cops.
When was this?
This was a few months ago.
And you
And
know
then
it's
he
the same
came
guy?
back.
Yes,
Yes.
she saw. This is
It's
the
the same
listing,
guy.
and if you look at the realtor information, Bill Lee.
Yes.
Oh my God.
This is
Oh my God.
This is a realtor.
This is like a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, and you know, we know why, because he supposedly has an offer on the house. He wants his commission, so he's going around the law, I think, in order
Where's
to get
his office? We should have a little action there, maybe.
His
Coldwell
office is
Banker.
in Pasadena, I think, Alvin said.
Yeah.
Well, we can
We
click
might
on
have to
it.
visit him.
Bill Lee. Let's click on his name and see if it tells you. That's Bill Lee.
There's Bill
About
Lee.
Bill Lee.
Yes, he's a
What's his
stocky man.
website?
Here's his phone.
Oh, let's get his phone number out. If anybody wants to.
626
626
254.
254 1088.
Yeah, so he's a realtor, and this is all handwritten. So this notice, you know, it seems like he was the instigator of this, and you know, all of this stuff. Contact Bill Lee. I mean, and this was written, I'm sure, by him. Contact Bill Lee to get your property. He's basically saying that we abandoned the property when.
I'm living
Clearly living here.
Yes. Yeah.
Just look at this photo shelf, guys. People live here. There's just no question.
Yeah. This is abandonment.
This is
And it even
not
says,
abandoned. Are you in these
My
pictures?
best
Are you in any of these pictures?
Yeah,
This one?
this is her.
Is that you right there?
Yeah, those are
Oh, look
Oh,
at
you won.
Is that your baby picture? Oh my gosh.
No, but even thing, it says, you can claim this personal property by contacting Bill Lee unless you pay the reasonable cost of storage. They claim no later than July 30. They may be disposed of. And it says that, you know, the subject to immediate towing and storage because the above is believed to be worth at least 3. It may be kept, sold, or destroyed without further notice if you fail to reclaim it. So they locked her out. I mean, you know, this isn't... And this is what he was saying.
Wow.
This was obviously not written by the sheriffs. This was written by Mr. Bill Lee. And even
he
this,
doesn't sign anything.
contact
you know
Bill
that.
Lee.
Yeah, there's no signature.
No, he doesn't
And-
sign anything.
Notice, this is catching my eye. Notice of right to reclaim abandoned personal property. What right is he referring to?
No, she's saying
what's
that this
giving him
is
the right,
addressed to him
right?
like this is
Oh, no,
her
this
right
is,
to
this
reclaim.
is from you. I'm sorry.
No, this is not from me. It's from him to us.
Yeah, well, that's
So-
what he's saying. That's
yeah.
what is giving him the right.
Right.
Like,
Well, he's
what
saying
right
that
is
she
he-
has the right, I think. This is notice of her right to reclaim her abandoned personal property,
I didn't
which
abandon my
she didn't
stuff.
abandon. You know, so he's saying...
My
He wants-
medicine is
Yeah.
all on the table.
Actually, if you look in the kitchen...
He wants you to come to him.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. When you vacated the premises, these remained. She didn't vacate. He locked her out.
Oh, personal property being the contents of the house,
Yes.
not the house itself. I thought
No.
you were referring to that, the property here, the
No,
house.
all
Okay.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
I see.
And
Well,
look-
he's saying that you can come collect your
Yeah.
belongings if you go through him. Huh.
Yeah,
Okay,
but the thing
I
is,
got
he
it
said
now.
when
Sorry.
you vacated, like he's saying that
Yeah.
we vacated today.
Yeah,
No
since you
way.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
since you
way.
left, you can come for me to
All
get
my
yourself. All right.
medicine.
What else are you showing me?
She's, you know, 64, multiple surgeries,
Right,
takes
yes.
tons of medication.
Yeah, this-
Like she
look
would
at her
leave
meds.
without her charger, without her medication. She vacated.
Yeah,
Look,
these are her
the
meds
food out-
right here. Look at all the medication that she's on after all these surgeries from all
Yeah.
this stress. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? And look, we're keeping my
Yeah.
5-year-old up at 11 o'clock because
yeah,
of all this.
it's not right. It's not right.
Yeah. So, I mean, the police obviously agreed.
Right. So
They agreed.
Again, the
They said
locksmith
resident
services
illegally
and
lock out. That's what they wrote here. They gave us
investigative
permission.
report from the Los Angeles Police Department, the locksmith services, that the
That's what it
LAPD recommended you to call
Mhm.
locksmith to get yourself back in because of an illegal lockout, and this is $450 out of
we-
pocket on top of the tens of thousands
Of
already,
course.
and the years and the surgeries and the
Everything.
I'm so
This is a
sorry.
horror story.
Yeah, it's a horror story. My heart goes out to you. I wish there was something more that I could do for you. I'm happy that Occupy Fights Foreclosures has been helping you, and it's amazing just the
Carlos is
timing of this.
amazing.
Yes, Carlos is an angel.
He is.
And you know, you're on the news yesterday. You know,
Right.
expressing to the what was it, NBC channel,
NBC
And I had
LA?
all the piles of papers here, which they took bits and pieces
Uh-huh.
of.
So
to
now we need
show.
to do a follow-up story and just tell them
Yes,
the
that's
next
what
step.
he said.
It's
the
crazy.
next
I mean,
chapter.
right now my grandma is not here. She's scared by all of this,
Yes,
so she's
my
staying
mom
with
is terrified.
her sister. You know what I mean? Like, because this is her
Me-
home, she can't be here because she's terrified of all
Right,
this
I
stuff.
mean,
banging on the
my
windows
mom
in the middle of
wanted
the
to
night and
pass
such.
in the comfort of
Of her
her
home.
bed.
Hmm.
This is what she knows.
So she's
And
not well?
No,
No,
she has
she
dementia.
has dementia. She's
doesn't-
very confused,
Hmm.
and she has survived 3
Open heart.
bypass surgeries.
Hmm.
She has survived that. To die in this situation,
No.
I mean, how will I live with that?
Well, it's not your fault, obviously, but
Ugh.
it's just I'm sorry that you're going through this. Well, we'll do what we can to get the story out and to, get you the help that you need. I know that Occupy Foreclosures is, working nonstop to help you. And this is a case that I've met you several times and interviewed you
Yes.
several times. It seems like it's been going on for a long time, and
Yeah.
that's just since I've been involved. But
2.5
when did
years.
it really start? Okay. That was,
2009.
wow.
Yeah, and it's the classic horror story.
2009.
Going for the modification
That
and the dual
was
tracking.
recommended by the government. Go proactively. Try and help yourself.
Right, go for the modification.
Go for the modification.
And then you're
I
denied.
asked for 3 things. Bring down the loan to the then assessed value of $943 by the county assessor's office. I sent that letter. I sent multiple hospital bills because I had already been going to the hospital multiple times. The economy was already taking a toll on small businesses, the internet, my absence, and the bank, after months, kept saying, you didn't send this paper. You didn't send the requirements. I sent it by FedEx. I sent it by fax over and over again. Then they would say, it's in review. It's in review. Finally, the denial letter came based on the fact that I was not in default. But I saw myself heading in that way.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have this all,
Yes.
you must have
Yes.
this all written,
Oh,
documented somewhere. Where,
absolutely.
is there somewhere,
Piles.
but is
Piles.
there somewhere online that somebody can read it? I guess not. It's too
No.
much information,
No.
huh?
And
It's
plus
I'm
there
just
was
thinking,
no single-
1,000 pieces of paper at this
but I'm
time.
thinking just a chronological kind of key points, bullet points almost. You could have your story
I
and
did
summary.
that
that's what,
recently for Carlos.
Okay.
I did that
okay,
before NBC came out.
Okay.
I did that.
good. So that's,
I did.
Yeah, but-
Just
and
to
she sent the whole
simplify
pack
it for
to
people,
Kamala
'cause-
Harris, like all
right.
the paper.
I remember
she
that.
sent.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
I have approached Waxman.
Mhm.
I've approached Mike Fuhr. I've approached Paul Koretz personally. These were personal contacts.
Mhm.
And then Kamala Harris.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been trying.
And none of them were able to help you.
No. To this point, no.
Well, I mean, it would have been good because the homeowners bill of rights actually everything that it's protecting against is what happened to her. So for future people, it did have an effect, not personally for you, but now people hopefully won't have to go through what you went through, because if they prevented the dual tracking, single point of contact, all of those things happened because there wasn't those 2 things. You know what I mean? They were still dual tracking you while
Right.
you were doing this. There was no single point of contact, so every time some different person would say you didn't have this when you clearly did with all this proof.
Right, right.
So my request at this point is one of 2 things. An immediate moratorium for those of us in this point of the foreclosure mess,
Right.
a moratorium, and the right to sue the banks
Mhm.
if they won't work with us. I'm still willing to work it out with them.
Mhm.
Well, it was funny because she wanted it, after paying, she put hundreds of thousands down, paid hundreds of thousands in interest in the time, and even that, she said the amount of principal reduction wouldn't have cost them a penny. And yet they sold it at auction, an auction that never actually occurred. She went to when it was auctioned.
Mhm.
Charlotte went, and a realtor friend of mine went.
Always.
No opening bid.
There was no auction, and they sold it for $750 when she was willing to do $943. So they sold it to another bank for $750, and now they're selling it for $799. That's what it's listed at currently, $799. She offered $943. Why did all of this happen years before she was offering $943? $943, and this was after they already had hundreds of thousands of her dollars. So $943, they wouldn't have lost a penny. A penny, they still would have had it. It was going down from like $999 to $943.
So where's the logic in that?
It doesn't make
follow the money, right? Who's making the profit on it?
Well, I think that because at the time they were also getting incentives to write off bad loans. So they get the write-off, plus then they sell it, and now they make the money twice.
Maybe there's more to the story than you know, and they were actually making more.
Yes.
Somewhere.
That's probably what happened.
The assignments show how they go from one to the other to the other.
Yeah, and I think they were
behind the scenes.
Yeah, because remember during that time that this was happening, they were getting a lot of incentives to write off the toxic loans. They were getting guarantees and incentives, you know, and you know they had very few incentives to actually do the modifications. You know.
Right. So it's just greed. It's just follow the money.
She was caught up in all of that. Those are all the notices that we took off.
Here's the notices that were all over the gates and the doors
everywhere.
when they came home.
Yeah, these are the two unique. Those are all copies of those two.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the two unique, and then all of those are just
claim
copies.
abandoned personal property.
Yeah,
saying that the house has been abandoned, and if you want to come collect your property, you can come talk to me, and I can help you with that. And that's from Bill Lee, who we have discovered is a realtor and actually has this property listed. So something's very fishy here. I would like to speak to Mr. Bill Lee as soon as possible. And this is a house full of families and children and babies, and nobody should be going through this. So I'm going to let you go and get some rest because I know it's been a long day, but thank you for talking to me and sharing your story because just as your son just said, you know, we are, of course, all praying that you're going to, you know, find a solution and of course, save your home. I mean, knowing the people that I know, they're not going to be able to take it from you. But the upside here, the silver lining, is that other people are benefiting from knowing your story. And stories like yours are what are encouraging people to support the signing of the Homeowners Bill of Rights and everything. So thank you for speaking to me and everything.
You're very, very welcome. If you should go by tomorrow in my absence, I'm going to give you my card with... So if you see at any time, because you're in the area, if at any time you're passing, please don't hesitate to call.
Yeah, because, you know...
I have another big issue. We'll deal with this one, but there's another big issue with my 25-year-old business.
Oh, I heard something about this.
Since I was in and out of hospital.
Right.
And I'm facing an eviction there too. 25 years. Because the owner, the building owner, brought in his brother-in-law, my son, who is my power of attorney, in my absence, made a sales agreement with this man. It was never disclosed that that was his brother-in-law. And they never opened the escrow. But they have kept every penny of cash coming through the store. And
on your business?
On my business.
Oh, okay. Oh, gosh. So the plot thickens. There's many layers here to this story.
Many.
My heart goes out to you, Mary.
And the underlying factor is, of course, because I was sick. He couldn't be here and there at the same time. Well, he did a fantastic job.
Makes you an easy victim, easy person for people to take advantage of, right?
I'm a professor, so I teach, so I mean, I'm not able to be there to supervise. And because this was recommended by the landlord, we kind of trusted it would happen. And then, you know, there kept being excuse after excuse, and her being in the hospital, what are we going to do, you know, because who's going to be there? She's in the hospital. And so they took advantage of the situation, too.
And
kept the money for...
Every penny.
So they basically acted like they owned it but never paid for it. And so we eventually kicked them out because they have no legal right to it. But unfortunately,
There's a repercussion.
now the repercussion is because it's the landlord's relative, he's not renewing the lease and he wants to kick her out. So it's like coercion. I mean, he basically wanted his relative to get it for essentially free, you know. So he was pressuring us to accept it in the first place because he kept saying, well, you better, you know, go with me because, you know, your lease is up and, you know, the new person would have to negotiate with me. We'll take care of this. So he was coercing us even to do the deal. And if she wasn't so sick and about to go in the hospital, I mean, my personal advice to her was, you know what, it's not worth it. And she was saying, you know what, I'm going to the hospital and, you know, you can't manage it. You're in school.
Do the best you can.
So just, you know, just go with it and, and see.
You do
But
the
then
best
you didn't even...
you can in that situation, and then it's just more people taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to you. I'm glad I live close by. You can call me, too, anytime you need me, anytime anything's going on. I'll give it to you again, because I live 3 blocks away from here. So
I know one
time. Yeah. So okay, so we're going to sign off for tonight, and we'll talk to you again.